Hi, I'm Kristen Lamentier, and I will be talking about challenging behavior in early childhood education. Just a little bit about myself before we get started. I have been in the education field for almost 10 years now, primarily working with the early childhood education. However, I have worked with students all the way up to fifth, sixth grade, and I am going to be continuing my education to be a certified special education teacher. So I currently deal with a lot of challenging behavior in my classroom this year. So thankfully, this course has allowed me to expand my knowledge on being able to support children in the classroom. So, what is challenging behavior? Challenging behavior is, according to Kaiser and Razminsky, which I pulled from our text, Challenging Behavior in Young Children. It is any behavior that children may not have the skills to address effectively, and it's also a pattern of behavior that can affect children's development and school learning. What can challenging behavior look like? This can really range. Every child, this is going to be based off an individual basis. So every child is going to show their challenging behavior in their own way. So you may see some aggression, task refusal, some outbursts, attention-seeking behaviors, and antisocial behaviors, which are like lying, stealing, destroying things, things of that sort. Anything, challenging behavior is really anything that just makes it difficult for the student to be able to learn. So again, I pulled this quote straight from our text. The quality of children's early relationships with their teachers is an important predictor of these children's future social relations with peers, their behavior problems, and school satisfaction and achievement. So you really want to focus on building positive relationships with children in the classroom. It's extremely important for adults to build relationships with students, but also adults to build relationships with other adults in the classroom. And it's also important to help students build positive relationships with their peers. Um, and so building relationships with students can decrease the likelihood of challenging behaviors in the classroom. Um, you really want to make sure that you're interacting with children individually and often. That way you can build that positive relationship and decrease the likelihood of them acting out or being defiant or refusing tasks. So, self-reflection is another important thing to be mindful of when dealing with challenging behavior in the classroom, because you need to be able to take care of yourself first so you can help the students. If you are not 100%, you're not going to be able to give that 100%. So it's really important to recognize your triggers, remember your goals, take care of your body, and just be mindful of yourself and the way that you're feeling. And, maybe one day, you're just really irritated, you didn't sleep well. Those are probably going to be the days where your fuse is a little bit shorter, right? Maybe you're not going to be able to have as much patience, or things like that. Whereas, and being mindful of that, maybe you could step away and have the co-teacher or another teacher in the room help you out. You can say, hey, really not in the mood today. My patients are run really thin right now. I need you to help in and or step in and help me with this. And it's important to remember that the students watch you You need to be able to model what positive behavior looks like in the classroom. And again, taking care of yourself is going to allow you to do that. Um, and again, remember with the children watching you, negative emotions are contagious. So, if you're irritated and you're huffing and you're puffing, the students are seeing that and they're picking up on that. So again, just being a positive role model. So, they can see what appropriate behavior is in the classroom. You could also reactivate feelings for the students. So, recognizing your own triggers, but again, acknowledging that maybe some of the students in your own classroom have some triggers. So, maybe if you are irritated and you lose your patience, you shout, that could send a child into emotional overload and break down and cry or run away and hide, things of that sort. So you also have to be careful and sensitive to their feelings as well because you don't want to reactivate any trauma or anything like that. So this is a super cool resource that I had pulled from one of our modules. It's a little self-care for teachers. I did link the PDF. In a real presentation, I would send this out to other teachers and they would be able to click on it and pull it up. So this is just part one. There is a part two. I thought this was a really cool activity because the hot button activity will make you or help you identify some of your own triggers and some of your own sensibilities and how you can go about recognizing that and being able to step away um, to make sure that you are 100% for the students. So I am now going to be talking a little bit about the pyramid model. Um, I pulled most of this information from our text Unpacking the Pyramid Model. This was a super fun thing to learn about. I incorporate a lot of the strategies that I have learned regarding the pyramid model into my own classroom because I have just found that these practices actually do really help students in the classroom stay engaged and not um, engage in challenging behaviors. So the pyramid model is a framework designed to support children in preschool, and it has 3 tiers with the top being the most intense um, strategies and practices incorporated in it. So first we're going to take a look at that first tier, that bottom tier, which is universal practices. So this is going to include positive relationships and high quality environments. So this is like your bare minimum, so to speak, in a classroom. These are things that you're really probably already going to be doing, but it's just being more mindful of that and including, some different strategies and implementations to make sure that tier one is present in your classroom. So, positive relationships, again, going back to that positive relationships a couple slides ago, adult to adult, adult to student, building all of those relationships within the classroom. But this also expands to the family. You want to make sure that you have a relationship with the families. And having a high quality environment, this would include promoting engagement, providing structure and predictability, having those schedules and routines, things of that sort, making sure that your environmental design is created appropriately and flexible for all children, making sure that you have smooth transitions, and making sure that you have rules and expectations within the classroom that the children are aware of. So if your tier one strategies and implementations are just kind of really not enough, to support children with challenging behavior. Going to step it up a notch to tier 2, which is really targeting that social emotional support, because that is truly where, a lot of kids that have challenging behavior are struggling, is because they don't know how to, show their feelings, and they don't know how to handle situations appropriately. Those social emotional skills really need to be built up. So this is important to know what to teach, when to teach, how to teach. First of all, what are you going to teach? Again, just like I mentioned, those social emotional skills. You're going to teach those social emotional skills and emotional competencies so that children can interact appropriately. So this would be, anger management strategies, problem solving skills, calm down strategies. The young children, especially in preschool years, they cannot manage their own behavior, or I'm sorry, their own emotions, and they just need that extra support. Um, whether it is a calm down corner, or something like that, and they can go and sit and calm down. When do you teach social emotional skills? All day. All day, every day is a great time to teach social emotional skills. Really, you can incorporate some type of social emotional skill into just about any lesson. You really can. But you want to make sure that you're teaching this when there are no challenging behaviors occurring. That way you make sure that you have everybody involved and engaged. And how to teach. How are you going to teach these social emotional skills? Um, how are these children going to learn these social emotional skills? Lots and lots of practice, which, as with anything, lots of practice, you become experts, right? So just giving children that opportunity to be able to maybe role model, or uh, engage in those different type of social emotional skills that they're learning. And you can do this large group, whole group, with everybody. You can do this in small groups, and you can do this one-on-one. So there's many different ways that you can be teaching social emotional skills. So, again, jumping into that supportive environment, um, using visuals, effective teaching skills, providing positive feedback, implementing smooth transitions. All of these things can help support your environment. I found, especially with the young ones, visuals are key. Not only are they super cute, but the kids really love them and they understand them, and it helps them. Visuals for really everything: lining up, clean up, bathroom, how to wash your hands, things like that. You can really incorporate visuals all over the place, and that can help with those social emotional skills. Having effective teaching practices would be, having classroom management, having a good system. Maybe if a child is doing really, really well, maybe they earn a sticker, or, something along that sort. You can use some sort of management tool that way, um, as well as using timers and verbal warnings. Especially during those transitions, I found a lot of my kiddos, again with the visual, I throw a visual timer up on the board, and I feel like a lot of my kiddos, because they have no sense of time really, it helps them in understanding how much time is actually left. Um, and some other things that you can do, is, guided play during playtime, so you're playing alongside the child, and, planning during wait time. So, if there is a wait period during transitions, what is expected of the child and what are they allowed to do within that time period. So far we've talked about a handful of strategies. Again, that was only tier 2. So if you have a child that is still struggling with managing their behaviors in the classroom, you're going to bump it up to tier 3. And this is the most intensive intervention, and it's for persistent behavior. Um, and it's also for children who just are not responsive to the other practices that you've implemented. Um, and I found recently that there are a lot of children that we've been getting to tier 3 with, and we've been working together as a team, which is a suggestion here. It's always developed by a team. An FBA is implemented and behavior support is put in place. FBA being functional behavior assessment. So usually some sort of supervisor, behavior consultant, principal of some sort will come in and do a observation and that functional behavior assessment to help figure out what exactly is going on with the behavior that the child is showing. So when you get to tier 3 and you notice that the child is just really having a hard time, you're really going to want to collect data. How many times the behavior is happening, what the behavior is, things of that sort. Any kind of data that you can collect is always helpful for the team and the supervisor doing the FBA. And identifying, again, that's the next tab, identifying the function of behavior, which is kind of included in the FBA. That's what the FBA is for. The supervisor is going to come in, do the observation, and figure out what the underlying function of that behavior is. And that person also comes up with a plan and sets goals to help the child get on the right track for engaging in positive behavior. And we do this by using reinforcements, positive reinforcements throughout the day. And progress monitoring is also super important because again, it's kind of that collection of data so that the behavior consultants or the supervisor can see how well your supports that are put into place are working. So with those supports that I have mentioned throughout this presentation, I really want you to just walk away with 3 things. My recommendations as an educator dealing with challenging behavior in young students in the classroom, I really feel like these 3 things are truly the most important. Building positive relationships. Without that positive relationship, that child, there's just going to be no connection, and that child's really not going to take away a whole lot. Creating a supportive environment. So again, all those visuals and creating your classroom layout appropriately, that is really going to help the child be engaged, know what's expected, and get them on the right track. And working as a team to help support the students that are engaging in challenging behaviors. I feel like even with the most education and the most experience, you are always going to have that one student that just gives you a run for your money. And so being able to work together as a team can help you collaborate ideas and come up with appropriate ways to support your children in the classroom. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. Here are the references that I used in this presentation. Thank you.